All right, let's dive into one of the most buzzed about topics in e-commerce, dropshipping. Today, we're going to break down a guide that shows beginners how to get started without all the usual headaches. We'll be walking through a process that's specifically designed to tackle the biggest hurdles right out of the gate. You know, this quote from our source material really just hits the nail on the head. It feels like everyone is talking about dropshipping, right? They're pulled in by this dream of having their own digital business. But as a lot of people find out pretty quickly, actually getting started is a whole different story. And this slide lays out the classic dilemma perfectly. On one hand, you've got this incredible promise. You don't need a warehouse. You don't need a ton of cash to start, and you can work from anywhere. But then reality hits. And that reality usually involves two massive roadblocks: figuring out what to sell, and then trying to build a professional-looking online store that actually works. So, the guide we're digging into today really zeroes in on these two specific problems. It frames them as the biggest hurdles that trip up almost everyone when they're just starting out. Let's break them down. Okay, first up, the product problem. I mean, think about it. You can have the most amazing marketing campaign in the world, but if you're trying to sell a product that nobody actually wants, well, you're just burning cash. The guide makes it super clear that finding a winning product is the absolute foundation of everything else. And then there's hurdle number 2, the tech stuff. It's not enough to just find a cool product. You need a website that looks trustworthy, feels professional, and is easy to use. I mean, we've all been on those sites where the Buy Now button is broken or the layout is just a mess, right? It's an instant deal breaker. So, with those two big problems on the table, the source material introduces a potential solution. It's a single platform that's designed to tackle both the product finding problem and the store building problem at the same time. And that platform is called Spocket. The way the guide presents it, it's basically an all-in-one tool that plugs right into Shopify and automates the most difficult, time-consuming parts of getting a dropshipping business off the ground. And this is where it gets really interesting, because you can see how each of these features directly solves a beginner's biggest fears. You can't find a product? Here's over 100 million of them. Worried about those notoriously slow shipping times? Well, you get access to a network of suppliers right in the US and Europe. And that whole technical headache of building a store, an AI just does it for you. Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work? Let's get practical and see how the guide actually demonstrates this whole automated setup process. Now, the first thing the guide points out is this little mindset shift. You know, building a real business means being willing to invest a little something. But we're not talking about thousands of dollars here. The process they show starts with a 14-day trial that costs less than a cup of coffee. And the whole setup is designed to be ridiculously simple. It's basically 3 steps. You sign up, you answer a few quick questions from an AI wizard, and then you verify your email. That's it. It's all about being fast and non-technical. So this AI wizard, it does all the heavy lifting when it comes to design and even product ideas. You just give it some basic preferences. Like, do you want a cool or warm color scheme? What kind of personality should your store have? Modern, innovative? You can even tell it to just pick a product category for you based on what's trending right now. And here's the magic part. Once you've answered those simple questions and verified your email, the AI just gets to work. According to the source material, it builds your entire Shopify store for you in the background. You just sit back, and in anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour, poof, you've got a fully built store. Okay, so the store is built. Awesome. But an empty store doesn't sell anything, right? So now let's look at the workflow the guide shows for actually finding a product and putting it up for sale on those new digital shelves. The source material uses a perfect example: this wireless fitness headband. And this is where you can really see the business model in action. The suppliers in the United States, your cost is about $16, and the suggested retail price is over $28. That means there's a potential profit of more than $12 on every single sale you make. And if you're a visual person, this chart just makes it all crystal clear. You can see your cost, you can see the retail price, and then you see that nice profit margin right there. It just makes the numbers and the potential feel really tangible and easy to grasp. So how do you get that cool product from the supplier's catalog onto your brand new store? Well, the guide shows that it's a simple 2-click process. First, you add the product to what they call an import list. Then, from that list, you just click one more button, Push to Store. And that's it. Seriously, the source demonstrates that the product, with all of its images, its descriptions, all the different options, it just appears live on your Shopify store almost instantly. All that manual, tedious data entry is just gone. completely automated. So let's just step back for a second here. The store gets built automatically, the products get added with a couple of clicks. What does this level of automation really mean for someone who's looking to start out today? Well, the guide's final conclusion is pretty clear. If you want to get into dropshipping, especially if you want to sell internationally, a platform that bundles together product sourcing, vetted suppliers, and automated store creation, well, it's positioned as a powerful all-in-one solution. But this all leaves us with a final and, I think, really fascinating question. If technology is automating the hard parts, the setup, the product sourcing, what becomes the new big challenge? The focus seems to be shifting away from just building the store and more towards skills like marketing, branding, and customer service. So what do you think? In a world of automation, what becomes the most important skill for a dropshipper to have?